Too much Texas talent. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by for the best in discussion, debate, and analysis. Final score from Austin, we believe, is 38-24. We shut it off with about 1 minute left to get this instant analysis straight to you as soon as possible. Texas wins in the first round of the playoffs in the only warm weather site. Clemson put up a fight. Let's frame this the way it should be properly framed. Texas was decidedly the better football team. Was this a good game? It was a decent football game. It was entertaining for a number of reasons. Basically, Cade Klubnik and those Clemson wide receivers. Let's start with Klubnik. Definitely Klubnik and also the Clemson wide receivers, Antonio Williams, TJ Moore in particular, kept Clemson in the game, and a few turnovers by Texas made it somewhat interesting. But was Clemson decidedly the better team? Did they generally have a 2-3 score lead during the game? Did we ever have serious doubt? No, I did not. Clemson was going to win. Texas was going to win this game. Clemson, though, with a shot near the end of the ball game to make it extremely interesting. Please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Of course, we go live after Ohio State, Tennessee. Clemson, a shaky season, 10-3, snuck into the ACC championship game, hung on for dear life against an SMU team that got annihilated by Penn State today. Won on a 56-yard field goal after they gave up a 17-point lead to SMU in the fourth quarter. Clemson's next best win, Crickets, Pitt, 7-5 Pitt. Yeah, Clemson did not come into this as an impressive football team with an impressive season by any stretch. But Dabo Swinney, playoff time, you thought maybe they had a chance. Maybe he could relive some magic. All right, Cade Klubnik, of course, grew up 10 miles outside of Austin, Texas, at Westlake High School, played against many of his former teammates in this game. I think it's been undersold this season how much improved Cade Klubnik is. Drew Aller, Penn State, Cade Klubnik, the ACC version of Aller, in regards to high five-star, so much riding on him, so much expected, disappointing to a certain extent, still a decent quarterback coming into 2024, but so much better, and he showed it today. Cade Klubnik carried this Clemson team to a near upset. Not down to the wire upset, but they scared Texas in the final 5 to 6 minutes. 19 touchdowns, 9 picks. Last year, 33 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 40 total touchdowns, number 3 in the nation for touchdowns accounted for. Keep in mind, this Texas defense, only defense in college football, top 3 in scoring defense, total yardage, efficiency defense, all of it, but number 1 in regards to not giving up more than 350 yards of total offense in any game this season. Phil Maffa, this would be key as well. Phil Maffa's an excellent running back. Is he one of the best in college football? No. But coming down the stretch, really had a rough time with his shoulder. Averaged only 2.4 yards per carry his final 55 attempts of the season, and it really showed in this game, and basically had a nice first drive, a couple nice runs, and then he was finished for the day. The pain tolerance was just too much. Jay Haynes also out for Clemson due to an ACL. They had to get creative. Did Garrett Riley in terms of trying to generate some type of rushing attack outside of Klubnik himself. Kelvin Banks, left tackle, missed the SEC championship game. Sometimes we note key running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, of course, missing games due to injuries and pointing to, well, that's a condition on a particular loss. Kelvin Banks is the best left tackle in college football. He missed the SEC championship game. He was back for this. Isaiah Bond did miss the game for Texas. All right, right out of the gate, Garrett Riley had a nice matchup, a nice game plan, but I got the feeling, okay, Clemson put together its best series of plays, put together a lot of plays that weren't necessarily on tape or were nuanced going into this game, and a lot of underdogs do this. They will put their best foot forward to try to just grab a lead, grab some momentum, extend the game, and that's what Clemson did. 12 plays, 75 yards. And again, Klubnik from the first play of the game was remarkable in this game. I cannot overemphasize. Maybe I am overemphasizing it, but Klubnik was great in this game. Otherwise, Clemson gets destroyed. Hits Antonio Williams, 22-yard touchdown pass, 12 plays, 75 yards, 7-0 Clemson. Texas comes right back. This was the deal in this game, was that Texas could not be stopped on the ground. We will get you the statistics. You will see the stats posted over me throughout this video. I do not have many of them in front of me right this second. But on a 3rd and 10, Texas is running the football. That's the type, and not a trick play. Nothing fancy about it. They pulled the guard. He blew out the right end, and then it was Contravian Weissner. 15 carries, 114 yards. And he picked up the 3rd and 10 with a DJ Campbell clearing the way. 4th and 1, Texas doesn't even blink. Sark says, go for it. Weissner, touchdown, 7-7 ball game. Anthony Hill, one of the great Texas defenders. It's just remarkable to see this transformation in the Texas defense versus when they were scuffling early in Sark's tenure, and then, of course, before that under Tom Herman, where they produced excellent NFL players in spots. But man, these are guys that are fulfilling their potential, and one of them is Anthony Hill. There was a play highlighted by Dusty Dvorak in which Hill was sucked inside. He was supposed to be pass rushing inside to one of the inside lanes, but he saw the screen to Maffa. He sprinted to the sideline, knocked Maffa out of bounds on a 3rd and 10, got him just short of the first down. Dabo may have thought about going for it, but deep in his own end at 7-7, they punted away. And has been a theme now with Indiana, with SMU, and now with Clemson. The punting sucks. It's the easiest job in sports. It's the easiest job certainly in football. Punt the football, and this in 62-degree weather. Bad punts over and over and over for Clemson, and there's a huge difference when you're knocking out these 28 to 30-yard punts versus booming them for 50. That's 20 yards in field position. Just killed Clemson in this one. Again, it's a Texas ground game, but the Texas ground game accentuated by playing against what has been a porous, especially by their standards, Clemson ground defense. Jaden Blue turned the corner for a touchdown, 14-7, as he just made the Clemson defense on that particular play look slow. They sealed the edge. Blue just outran the entire Clemson defense. 14 carries for $146 for Jaden Blue, touchdown, 14-7. Okay, we talked about Garrett Riley needing to get creative to generate rushing yardage. Of course, they did that with Cade Klubnik, but we are used to seeing that. Adam Randall, the guy who's a wide receiver who has been with the Clemson system for a long time and ran back the kick that set up the game-winning field goal in the ACC championship game. He lined up at running back 4 times. They would have him in the slot. He'd drop back to stand next to Klubnik in the formation. Anyway, a 41-yard run. Also, 3 other carries for Randall to try to generate some offense. However, when Clemson got it going down 14-7, Ethan Burke sacks his former high school teammate Klubnik on a 3rd and 16 to stop that drive. More Texas run game right down the field. Blue, Weister, also a little bit of Arch Manning starting to mix in there. 21-7. Maffa at this point out. And a key play when Klubnik, not his fault, Baron Sorrell with the bat at the line, another outstanding blue chip athlete, another one of the recruiting crop that came in, and he's going to be an NFL player for sure. Colin Simmons with the interception off the bat. And there was a series, there was a run of series there in the second and third quarters where Cade Klubnik was having issues getting the ball downfield past the Texas defensive line, and then he adjusted well in the fourth quarter. But on this particular play, interception, not Klubnik's fault, but the Clemson defense for once stood up and stuffed Jaden Blue. Sammy Brown with an exceptional play on Blue to stop the Texas drive. 4th down at the Clemson 18 to keep it at 21-7. Antonio Williams, should have been credited with a catch that would have converted a third down. It was actually second down, would have made a first down for Clemson in their own territory. Who knows what would have happened with that drive, but the officials blew it and the replay blew it. He caught the football, his toe was down, they should have given him the catch. And then right after that, another batted pass on third down cost Clemson another scoring opportunity. Vernon Broughton with the bat down of the Klubnik pass. Cam Williams out with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. He would be back. But again, the Texas offensive line very much in flux during this game. Jake Majors had to leave their center. They did a lot of shuffling up front. Again, Cam Williams had to leave the game at one point. He did come back early in the third quarter. However, Weissner was shown for the entire second half on a bike with a right leg injury. So this is something we need to keep an eye on for going into the Arizona State game. Late in the first half, Clemson almost made a play on defense. Actually, they did. I didn't like this situation from the officiating standpoint either. R.J. Mickens on the T.J. Moore. I don't know who the Texas receiver was that dropped the pass. Anyway, Ewers out in the flat on a bit of a slant route, and the wide receiver let the ball hit him right in the chest. They went right to R.J. Mickens, who ran it in for a touchdown. Pick six for Clemson. However, Trey Williams was called for a blindside block. I hate the rule, and I hate the interpretation of the rule. Number one, it was considered unnecessary. It was not unnecessary. Mickens was right there. He had not broken free at this point. This was not a play that was happening 40 yards downfield where somebody was just trying to get in a cheap shot. No, Williams was making a legitimate block. It was not a vicious hit either. He got in the way. The dude's 300 pounds. So when the Texas offensive player hit him, of course he fell like a pancake. Bad call. Unfortunately, it did affect scoring here because R.J. Mickens had a pick six. Clemson drove the ball down the field, did not convert though, only got the field goal, 21-10 at the break. All right, we mentioned Arch Manning starting to come in on some short yardage plays, and he was fairly effective. Gunnar Helm also making some big plays. Texas went up 31-10 at this point. On one of those series, Clemson put together a goal line stand to force a field goal, but still 31-10, you figured at that point the game is over. But here comes Klubnik, and Jake Briningstool, one of the best tight ends in the ACC, made a great catch, great throw and catch. We saw this time and time again. We didn't see this out of Texas too many times, but Klubnik and their receivers making NFL-type throws and catches to keep Clemson hanging in this game. And so we had the Briningstool reception where Klubnik just laid it in perfectly into a bucket. Then Jarvis Green on the wheel route out of the backfield, his first ever touchdown, and Clemson got back in the ball game at 31-17. Bad pass interference call on Avian Terrell. And as I'm starting to add this up, the officiating slightly on Texas' side. Texas would have still won the game. Texas fans, calm down. They're the better team, no doubt about it. But Texas did benefit from the officiating to a certain extent. This was a bad pass interference call on Avian Terrell against Matthew Golden. Now, Terrell had some legitimate PI calls as well. But on this particular play, no. They were hand fighting, and then Golden pushed him to the ground, and they called it on Terrell. Bad call. Clemson, though, still gets the stop. It just cost them in terms of field position. All right. At this point in the game, Clemson's trying to hang in at 31-17, and this is where T.J. Moore started to assert himself, in particular against Jabbar Muhammad. He really abused him in the fourth quarter. Wide open for a touchdown pass that was key. It was 4th and goal. Clemson needed it. They got it. Klubnik bought time, rolling to his right, found Williams wide open, or it was T.J. Moore wide open in the end zone. Touchdown 31-24 at this point. And Antonio Williams made a great sideline reception, going up for the football, coming down, watching his feet, getting the 1 foot in perfectly. And again, the Clemson wide receivers, the best unit of wide receivers in America from about 2012 to about 5 years ago, and then they took a nosedive. They really underperformed over the last several seasons. Better last season, much better this season, and today they look like the DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, we could go on and on and on, Mike Williams, Artavis Scott, and those guys, Justin Scott, from the last several seasons. Jadon Blue, 77 yards for the touchdown. Just when Texas ran the ball, it was beautifully blocked. Their offensive line was so dominant in this game. Kelvin Banks led the way. Boom, again, he missed the SEC championship game. They lost in overtime. He might have been the difference. 38-24 with 10 and a half minutes left, but Clemson would still have a shot. At that point, I thought it's probably over. 10 minutes left, 38-24. But no, Klubnik right back to TJ Moore. Great catches by TJ Moore, and Klubnik just dropping it. Dimes all over the place. However, this is what killed Clemson. Okay, they get the ball inside the 5. Did they not watch the Texas A&M game? Did they not watch tape? Did they not know that Texas is so stout against the run, especially interior? They tried Klubnik twice inside the 5. What are they doing? No, the second one was a straight handoff. And Bill Norton and Barron Sorrell just stuffed it. And you don't do that against Texas. That is just way too far to go against that Texas inside defense. Not going to happen. Then, so there's 5 minutes left. They stuff him at the goal line. It could have been a 38-31 game. Clemson gets denied. And then when Ewers hit Jadon Blue on 3rd and 9 to convert, that's your ball game. And they drove it right down the field and ran out the clock. 38-24, Texas wins. And this Texas team now 12-2. Clemson finishes at 10-4. But hey, guess what, Clemson fans? You can look forward to the offseason because your coach is getting into the transfer portal. For Texas, they're still playing football, of course, against Arizona State. We will highlight that matchup. Dusty Dvorak, and this is one of my favorite play-by-play teams with Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganbill on the sideline. Exceptional team, maybe the best in college football, reiterated what I was trying to communicate last night. Yes, the Notre Dame-Indiana game was a bore. The Penn State-SMU game was a debacle. But we've had that during 4-team playoff era games as well. Just let's back off a little bit. We had a nice game with Clemson, Texas. No, it was not a nail-biter, but it was a nice football game. It was a competitive game, a really entertaining game. And Clemson put up a nice fight for being on the road. So let's just back off, take in one season, correct some errors, probably some seeding, and so forth. The college football playoff is not perfect. It's better. It's not perfect. All right, let's take in Ohio State, Tennessee. We'll see you after the game. Give me a call right here at the Voice of College Football.